well, a lot of stuff we have to go through. So I'm going to call the meeting to order at 10:02. Present Bill McGowan, Lisa McGonigal, Wayne Sawchuk, Dan Coughlin. So, mailing the registered letters. What do we need? We're just going to do it. I mean, discussion about what we send out, right?
Yes. So everything is in place to for everything to be sent out. We just have to send it over to the printer.
Okay. I think we should send everything, like all the information. So then we don't have to, somebody will say, oh, well, wait a second, I didn't get this. And wait a second, rather than doing that, I think we send everything. And Wayne, what do you think?
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think we might as well cover all the bases while we can. So.
Right.
Was the board still printing the quick reference card on a cardstock or just on a piece of paper?
I do it on a piece of paper for now.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be on a card. No. I got to believe that less than 20% will actually read it.
Yeah.
Maybe. But we'll see.
You can have it on the website too.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to put it on the website. I have gotten a couple calls from people about the card and what they're getting, and the only call that they got was a little bit crazed was whether if they have to pay for maintenance, whether they're going to get reimbursed by the town, and I said no. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Why don't we go to unpaid grinder pump and sewer charges? Lisa, did you have an attachment for that, or are we just going to discuss it, or because I didn't see it in the stuff you sent?
I did not have an attachment. We have a small list that I'm going to give it one more once through.
Mm-hmm.
And Rod Hoffman had mentioned that we do not send the registered letters to these folks here. We need to clear that all up first, and then with a plan for that.
Okay.
I had it on the agenda just to make sure that we're all.
Did he tell you who should be sending the letters out? I mean, somebody obviously from the town. But would it be the same, the clerk's office or whoever sends out the tax bills, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Like, you mean for the billing and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
What they do.
Yep.
Yep, still working on that.
Okay. Do we want to go to, I didn't see it, it might be a new one on 62 Jerusalem Road. Do you want to do that while we're sort of going through this stuff? Which was a sewer bill that came in.
Yeah, is that Cohasset water there, or is it Hingham water?
Black Rock Road.
Yeah, that would be, I don't know, but she was talking about the getting it from the Weir River or something to that. I didn't understand that.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, yes. So it's actually, it used to be Aquarian, but it's no longer Aquarian. It's the Weir River. And so what happened was I flipped the switch to Brenda to have them start billing on sewer, but they're not actually using it yet. So this is all on.
Yeah, but if they use 1,900 gallons of water, what did they use the 1,900 gallons of water for?
Yeah.
The construction workers are still there.
Like having a bathroom in the construction workers area, or what?
No, I think that they have a porta potty for the construction workers, but
so how do you use 1,900 cubic feet?
Yeah, that's a
In other
lot.
words, they might not have an occupancy permit, but do they have any drains connected that can take the water? That's the question.
yeah, I don't know that for sure.
I mean, a lot of times, especially if it's a big house, they might finish one bathroom and then they have it because in the wintertime, porta potties are pretty cold. And if you have heat and stuff on there and you're working, then it could be going into the sewer. Is the sewer connection complete and been approved?
The sewer connection is complete and it's been approved, yes.
And when did that happen?
That, I'll have to look back on my records to let you know that. It was certainly before this, quarter billing.
So that's,
This is the first time that they've been billed.
This looks like, to Wayne's point, this looks like it might be contractors using it and, you know, they're building a new house. I don't know what they're, I don't know, about $200 for.
but
And they haven't gotten, they've requested an abatement, but they don't have it yet, right? From Ware River?
No, they didn't request an abatement from Ware River. It's requesting the abatement for the sewer.
yeah, in other words, they use the water.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
It's just a matter of, is anything connected to the sewer? And of course, it's not when you move into the house and have an occupancy permit, it's when you start using our town sewer.
Right.
Right. Sure.
I talked to Lori and she had said that they have the portable toilet there on premises, and she said that that's what she uses.
Mhm.
And
Do they have any toilets do they have any toilets installed in the house as of right now?
I don't think that they do. She said that they did. I believe that she said that they did not. But I will confirm.
Was this actually a new sewer connection for the house?
It is, yes.
So you'll have the installer's information when he installed the sewer, right?
Yeah, I have
Good,
that. But I just don't have it with me.
Right, but it's a case of, they're gonna install it before they're gonna use it, obviously, and it's just a
Yeah.
matter of,
But then you'll know when it's, for the most part, active.
right, but I think the key thing is, do you have any plumbing attached to it that can take water and then go into the sewer?
It's a lot of water to be sitting out in the front yard or something, so.
And then we're assuming that the water is gonna continue to be used, meaning, is this gonna come back next month, next quarter?
Well, not if well, for the sewer, I'll just if you guys approve the abatement, I'll let Brenda know not to bill them yet.
Not if they're continuing to use water that may be going into the sewer.
Okay.
I think that, might be a new owner, not understand whatever, but, or we send someone over to the property and see if there's anything connected. That's all. That was easy enough.
Yeah, that's
Someone had
probably.
it there to do the test. So it's just a simple thing, and it's just, I'm just, it's just sort of unusual.
Hmm.
So can we table this until we have some more information and then?
Yeah, I would say that's a good, yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
We'll revisit that. I'll take a trip out either today or tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be great. And then and as far as I'm concerned, if there's nothing connected, and you see, I don't know, if this was the middle of summer, they certainly would be, watering shrubs, the new lawn, or they'd be doing something like that. But as you get into the fall and winter, it's, what are they using water inside for?
Okay.
That's going through the sewer.
And I'm gonna see if Scott can join me.
Yeah,
Just
just a quick thing.
to have somebody technical there.
Next.
All right, so CJC is the next thing on our agenda. And I think mainly just to give an update from some of the correspondence that we've received from Rod regarding the application and what now the user, Mr. Stasco, wants to do, which is basically, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I don't have it with me, but basically it's to have the town pick up the sewer line from Stop and Shop Plaza to Pella Road, or a great amount of it, and also for the sewer department to give a very sizable discount to the 1.852 connection fee, 1.85 million. And then basically take 4 to 5 years to pay it.
Now, is there any more, Bill, any more discussion? I wanted to know if Dan had, I guess I'll ask Dan first. And did you do any sketches of going up Sawyer Street and going down and going, gravity over the hill or whatever, and maybe having 1 or 2 pumps along the way? Because at the very beginning, that was one of his ideas, was to do that first, right? And so then he wouldn't be on 3A at all. Because of the situation above Stasco's property, there's a possibility that they're going to connect onto sewer because of the failure of the 4 systems up there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's definite or not, but I mean, I think there was failure roughly of one system and flowing into another system. So there's at least 2 failures up there. The other 2, I think, were working okay. But we've never done a scenario where we went up there and crossed the tracks
Okay.
to tie into the sewer. I mean, it would definitely be a force main going up to that point, obviously.
Yep.
So there would have to be some type of pump station. And the obvious point or place for a pump station would be somewhere on Stasco's property level. And we did have some discussions, you might remember a couple of years back, about providing a service connection for Cook States to his pumping station. So, and that was basically a pump station maybe behind the Santander Bank area or between the 2 buildings.
Okay. The only reason I'm sort of interrupted, Bill, and the thing is that I don't think there's a plan yet that's been approved, certainly nothing that we've gotten. And so it's even premature for us to make a decision on what the town would do or what the town would not do. So my feeling was that there'd probably be a pump station at the bottom of Sawyer Street, going up Sawyer Street to the top, gravity going down, and then the possibility it might need one by the at the music circus there to go under the tracks and go up the incline to Ripley Road and then go down Ripley Road to our collection point, because the senior center has a pump system that went across and went diagonally through the library location. So, but that would either tie into the new line or that would just continue as it is, and then and then you've got some good things. Also, they've just gone ahead and put gas in it, and they've gone across almost every house to connect the gas. So they're going to likely repave the road. So if you were to do something on Sawyer Street, it should be done now, so that a new street doesn't have to be dug up. The alternative plans were starting to get a little tricky because Stasco has to get to the school pump, or Cook has to get to the school pump, and then there might be a situation where that pump wasn't intended to take an extra 25,000 gallons, that then goes over to the Deer Hill School, goes to the Osgood School, and the Osgood School goes to Pleasant Street. That's sort of expanding where it was never engineered to be expanded in that fashion. So the right thing, in my opinion, is to have a collection line that goes down and goes into Ripley Road. That said, only because that would potentially serve people that need sewer, not expand the sewer district down 3A, that there really isn't a need right now for it. And the permitting required to do that, and the $3 million estimate is just out of whack. So I think it's, and I don't know if Brian's on the call or not, but someone from the engineering department in the town has to come up with where they would allow it to go before we even can make a decision.
I just pulled up the letter that Rod sent to me, and all this started out by a series of conversations that I had with Chris Senior, where he was asking on behalf of the town, I presume, for some sort of concession, I'll say, from the sewer board on our 1.852 fee. After some discussion about that, it was agreed that we would give a concession to the affordable housing group rather than to the applicant of this project of $250,000, so which would drop it down to, I think, basically a million, $1.5 million, something, whatever it was. What the applicant is saying is that they're using a calculation that was derived, and Rod, correct me if I'm wrong, but derived from the Department of Environmental Protection. I had 5 wonderful years building a project on Cohasset Harbor and having to deal with DEP for 6 years. They do not, nor did not, nor will not tell a customer what to pay for services. It's on somebody else's. So that's complete hooey, wherever that 1.4 number came up. Might as well have $7.67. So, because they're both probably just as valid. So he also wants to split up the water connection fee into 4 payments, stretching out from February, June, September, and December, which was not in our application. I don't remember the percentages, but one was going to be paid with a signed application to the sewer board. There was going to be a mid payment and then the final payment when the line was constructed and approved for use. I don't see why that should change. So go ahead.
Excuse me, is that 4 payments in 1 year or 1 payment each of 4 years?
4 payments in 1 year.
Okay.
There's a distinction. When I spoke with the attorney, DeLisi, he said that the Water Commission had indicated some flexibility on stretching out the payments. And so the proposal on the water connection fee was quarterly payments, February, June, September, December of 2021. And that was distinct from the proposal on payments for the sewer connection fee.
So would the sewer connection follow that? He would like it to follow that 4 payment in 1 year?
No.
He would like to spread it out longer. Right?
His proposal on the payment for the sewer connection fee was, get a credit for the cost of construction, and then the balance between that cost and our 1.6, whatever that number is, divided by 4, and then spread out over the first, second, third, and fourth anniversaries of the CO, I think.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah, I hadn't gotten down that far yet. So we just have to wait and see what happens on this. I don't know what. We'll have to wait and see. I mean,
I think the situation is we can't install it without any contribution from him, meaning he would end up very likely in a position that we install it, and let's say it's $1.6 million. $1.6 million is done. Now he has no payment to pay in to the upgrades of the plant and the other things that the original fee is to connect. So it's like he's getting 50% of everything free, which doesn't seem to make sense.
And we as a board will get skewered by the town. They'll run out of torches and pitchforks in no time. So we got to be, I don't know.
So now it's the reality can it even go down 3A, or how long would it take to go down 3A? What is that going to cost? The estimates that the town had run looking for the grant made it a very significant outlay. In other words, they were seeking $3.7 million. How could, you know, the town can't, if they didn't get a grant and they wanted to do it, the town can't really afford to do that for a private owner on a piece of commercial property. It's, I mean, to get the permit to build the building, he was required to put in a septic system that was approved, and that's how he proceeded. Now he wants to switch from a septic system to the sewer because of his doings, and I'm not sure that the town can really go along with that.
No, I mean, he's going to have to, I mean, I would think in this situation, and Rod, you can probably answer this, we probably are going to have to go, or he's going to have to go before town meeting.
I think that's probably right.
Now, normally the town designs something rather than the contractor. And it has to be in the best interest of the town if we're going to spend and allow an extension of the sewer main to serve that building. So with that said, something like the Sawyer Street and having a couple of different situations where that sewer is needed, you know, otherwise we're going to have someone else, you know, Cook Estates there wanting to do this to the woods or something, someone else doing things, and it's just it just can cause harm to our whole collection system in terms of where pumps and everything else are located and where the expansions would go.
Right, and I just found, Rod, your first memo to me, where that the attorney DeLisi said he had a rough calculation of the cost of the line would be $1 million, and that because this construction of the line is a benefit to the town, it should be offset against the connection fee.
Yeah, that's what that was his case to me.
Wonderful. Oh, and then he also said something, and you know, I think Brian is still on, Brian and Dan. He also said something that the commission views this as a private line in order not to exceed the current capacity of the system. It should be deemed a public line. And he said that because it passes through a Class A tributary system, the regulations require it to be a public line. I don't have any way of yay or nay in that one. I haven't heard that stuff before.
Explain it to us. Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't even know what a tribute. I mean, I got to believe it's whatever the wetlands are down there. That's what they're referring to.
Yeah, they're talking about the extension of Peppermint Brook along, you know, near Route 3A. So the area of the pumping station is basically within that zone of influence of Lily Pond. Typically, you would like to have it a municipal entity versus a private entity. I don't believe that's a mandate. I think that's a workaround essentially. But the one thing it does have to do is does have to meet certain integrity conditions.
Right.
So
We knew that going in though, when he made that original application to go down 3A, we knew that he had to do certain things to protect the waterway. What do you like? You put another pipe around the sewer pipe type thing to keep it.
yeah, or use a different pipe material that has a structural integrity as well as a pressure integrity. You know, and usually that would be something like a cement line ductile line or oxy-coated ductile line or something like that. So versus PVC.
Yeah. Rod, is that something you can research from a legal standpoint?
Sure.
I think one of the questions are, can you place a private pipe along within the state highway right-of-way? Or in fact, does it have to be the town's pipe?
Again, The preference from Mass Highway is basically to have a municipal entrance into the right of way, but private pipes have been done and are granted. Again, it comes down to the integrity of the system and how it's going to be operated and maintained in the long run.
Right. But I mean, you know, the reasoning from doing that, I mean, this is something that we did not want to do. So, and as far as as far as I know, it is not something that is being requested of by the town. So he wanted to do this. We didn't put a gun to his head and say, okay, you got to go down 3A. This was his thought after looking at two others. So I think, I don't know. We'll have to see how that works its way out. And Lisa, one of the other things, I'll give you a bit of homework if you don't mind. Can you connect with the water department to see if they actually have made an offer to do this quarterly payment and what that offer was?
Sure.
I think theirs is much stricter at getting the money all in one year.
Yeah.
Versus the 4-year payout for the sewer. But I think it's going to be very tough to justify the town putting in a private pipe just for one entity, which was caused, fixing something that was caused by that entity.
Right. And that's why when we went by this, which got to be like 1.5 years or 2 years ago now, that is why it was proposed that the private pipe be paid for by the person who needs it, not the town. Anyway, I don't know. Is Brian still on?
Brian's on, yes. He wasn't in. I'm sorry. I missed him on the list. He's in now.
I wondered hey, Brian, do you have any update on what's going on, from the town's perspective to this? Oh, he didn't like the question.
I'm sorry, was that a question for me?
Yeah. Do you have any update on what's going on between the town and, the application at Chief Justice Cushing Highway?
No, the latest I heard, so I had met with the building inspector and Chris and others, and basically said, just kind of an update of where we are. And the last correspondence I saw was from Rod, I think, to DeLisi. That was I had received an email from, I think it came from you, Bill.
Yep.
About interactions between Rod and Jeff DeLisi.
Yep.
So that's a long answer to, I don't know exactly where we stand, if they've submitted for an application or not, but in reading that email, there was discussion about the fees and such, and payment schedules and things like that.
Okay.
Does the town, Brian, have they seen any documents or plans of what he actually wants to do and where it's going to go? And has that been vetted between the water department and you or anybody like that in terms of?
I haven't seen any plans yet, Wade.
Excuse me?
I imagine they would come across his desk. I have not seen any plans to date.
Okay. So.
Okay. I guess we just, wait, see what happens. I mean, I don't know what else we can do, so. Okey doke. So on to the next. We talk about 602 Jerusalem Road.
And is Bob Shepherd on or no?
I don't see him. I don't see him at all.
How did he get on the agenda in terms of?
So he called and wanted to be put on the agenda. He's looking for that development to be put on sewer, and that's why he wanted to be on the agenda.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to wait.
When the meeting was, and I sent him the agenda too.
Yeah, and he's, I mean, he's looking, I have the note that he sent to Lisa. He's looking for a 23 lot subdivision. And he's looking for a sewer hookup.
Right, and that was the subdivision that was approved over 10 years ago. And so it's back in the building department for reapproval because too much time has elapsed.
I happened to drive up there, and you can see they're certainly doing something because the land is all staked out, and you know, there's some guys walking around that look like surveyors type of thing. So there's certainly activity. I don't know if it was sold. I don't know what was happening, but when was the last time, Wayne, we had somebody come by? We had somebody come by, what, 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, several years ago. Yeah. Apparently, he has a couple of lots that front on
Black Rock Road.
Rock Road
Yeah.
that he may or may not be seeking a permit for, and that would be a Form A, in my opinion. That wouldn't necessarily be part of the subdivision because there's sewer on that, et cetera. But you know, when hearing the other day that from Chris Senior that there's absolutely no permits there at all, and nothing's going to be done and all that stuff. I don't know where that, you know, whether that came from somewhere or not.
Yeah, because I remember the last applicant that came before us, I think wanted 26 lots. And I'm just trying to remember going back. I want to say that there were some COMCOM issues, or
There were.
you know, something about wetlands or something up there, and I don't know where they were, but I mean, there was a host of issues that the parcel had, and I can't remember the gentleman's name. Began with a G.
Right,
It was
you
probably,
talking about
pardon me?
Rada?
Yes. Yep. So he was supposed to get back to us, and and we never heard from him.
Yeah. Well, I just think you could just get in touch with him and ask him, you know, to
We could put him on the next. We could put him on the next agenda if he wants to do that.
I think Bob is one of the partners with Grata. So
Oh,
with Paul Grata.
So Katie mentioned that the Cohasset Wetlands bylaw was approved in 2001 and stormwater bylaw was approved in 2008. Given that the lapse approval for 1999 subdivisions and the 23 unit subdivisions never went through critical permitting for wetlands and stormwater.
So he would have to,
There's
I
more
would
there.
think, just probably reapply and see if he comes up with the same approvals he had before.
Katie, you're muted too.
and we you know, I mean, presuming this goes through, which there's no real you know, and I think we wait to see what happens, but I think we obviously have to figure out if he puts 23 4-bedroom homes up there, what that does to our capacity.
Bill, I see that Ms. Dugan is raising her hand.
Oh, I don't have my thing on.
Catherine, go ahead.
Okay, I guess the question that I have is that the last time that the Jerusalem Road LP went before the planning board, it was a request for them to basically overlook the fact that they had let the 1999 subdivision lapse. The planning board declined them. And so the fact that Bob Shepherd is continuing to come forward representing that there is an approved subdivision is just problematic in general. But in addition to that, the subdivision was approved and lapsed due to the fact that it was never registered with the Norfolk County of Deeds prior to the wetlands bylaw and the stormwater bylaw. There's been no review of this subdivision under those two statutes. And so I guess I don't understand how the sewer commission can be even considering or discussing proposed connections or infrastructure for such a large unit when we don't know what the wetlands implications are. The 602 Jerusalem parcel abuts Rattlesnake Run, and 65 Jerusalem, which is attached to the 62 Black Rock Road, which is attached to the 65 Black Rock Road, was deemed to have wetlands in it, which may affect their ability to enter in off of Black Rock Road. So I guess I'm just kind of confused as to what Bob Shepherd is representing here in terms of this 1999 subdivision, given it hasn't had review under two critical bylaws.
Well, I'll speak for the board. I'll speak for Wayne. We're not approving or anything. Anybody who comes before the board with a question, we talk to them. That's all this is. We have not granted anything. I don't think we've done anything more than to basically do way back a quick back of the napkin calculation as to what kind of demand on our treatment plant would be if they were connected and how that would be done. There was also discussion that if they passed a muster from the town, that potentially they'd go through Hull because of the connection on Jerusalem Road. But we have done nothing else. And all we're doing is listening to the guy, and in a public forum, all this other stuff comes up. But, you know, we can only do what the sewer board does, and we're not planning and we're not zoning and Concom. All we're doing is listening to this guy. And I suspect that with all the questions that would come out of this, not only from this board, but from others in the town, that it'd be very quick for this guy to realize that he doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Okay, I appreciate that. I guess what I worry about is just the representation of the 99 subdivision as still being a valid discussion point for all of this, because it's not, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Well, in the letter that he sent to us, there's no reference to that. He's asking us about sewer capacity. He wants to know what the board would need from the developer to secure sewer hookup. And one of the things we would need is all of the permits that he would have had to have prior to coming to us. He'd have to show them to us. So this is very, very early days as far as I'm concerned on what this guy wants to do and how and whether or not he's actually even going to get to do it.
Okay, I appreciate that. And so you guys do take into account the conservation, stormwater, and wetlands bylaw when you have those conversations, or at least the wetlands when you have approval conversations?
Yeah, we were just talking about that with respect to CJC. So yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
We do require that. I mean, he has to get a building permit for each house, and basically we're using that as part of the permit. He would go to the building inspector first. He's going to fill out all the forms. He then has to get the signatures from the conservation, from planning board, all the different ones, and sewer would be one that he would also have to get before he could come before us and get a permit for the actually using the sewer. So when he came before, he said, "Can I get a permit?" I said, the only way you got to do it is you got to have an approved lot, and then you have to have, the inspections and everything with the approvals from those people. And then, yes, you could potentially hook up a house. And I think he's sort of looking for a connection to hook up 27 houses without having anything except a vacant piece of land. And that's where it's just not going to work. I mentioned that he did have frontage on like two lots or something, and potentially that could be subdivided from the larger piece of property with a Form A subdivision approval not required. But that would be the limit of what I could see that he could do with the 50 or so acres he has in terms of any more building.
Yeah, he does have 2 lots on Black Rock Road, which are smaller under residential B. And then he has the much larger 45-acre lot, which is the 602 Jerusalem. So the difference between 2 off of Black Rock versus the 45 acres off of Jerusalem is a big discussion. But I think the bigger point, at least for the abutters, is that there's been no conservation or wetlands oversight of any of these conversations because it all predated the existence of those bylaws. And so I don't even know to what extent the conservation agent or third parties have gone through and really documented fully what the wetlands look like. We know anecdotally from the 65 Black Rock conversation that they have, as recently as 18 months ago, said that there are wetlands on Black Rock Road that needed to have a buffer zone associated with them. But that was just as related to the one development of 62 Black Rock Road, not the addition of other lots. So again, I think for us, it really ties back to making sure that the conservation is the first step in this conversation versus the sewer conversation. I appreciate the fact that you guys are pushing it in that direction from a permitting perspective.
Yeah. We're almost the last person to.
Right.
First person.
Which is why it's kind of confusing. Why you guys are the first have 2 times in a row been the first conversation versus the last conversation. So,
and it's just sort of weird because there's no changes,
Yeah.
meaning, if they come in and they talk, we say what we're hearing today, and then they leave, and then 2 or 3 years later they come back and ask the same questions.
yeah.
And
I did check with Town Hall with both building with John Helen and with Lauren Lind, and there's been no inquiries in the last 2 months or 3 months relative to this property. So they're not actively in discussions with any of the other permitting boards. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Bill, any other discussions on it?
No, I mean, if he's not here, he's not here. So I think we don't have to worry about it. Well, what we missed at the beginning, or I missed, is our next meeting. And I wonder if the 23rd of February works for everybody.
Yes.
It's good for me.
Yeah, okay, good for me. The next thing on the agenda is the application for Matt Shannon for the 3 lots on Diab Lane.
Was surprised that they pretty much included everything we asked for in a timely basis.
Yeah, he sort of missed the date, but that, what are you gonna do? So,
So, back to that though, we had recently received a list of, from Paul Lynn Harris regarding that owe the town money and to not put through any applications. And he is on that list.
oh, really?
What is this? What is this for? What was this? Lisa,
It's a list of people that owe the town money.
Oh.
What did she call it? Called it delinquent due report.
Did you send that to us, or?
I think I did. I'll resend it. It's on here a couple of times, I believe.
Okay, so this will be a kind of a dilemma, and I guess maybe it's just something that we have to.
maybe Rod might have to answer this.
Well, I'm just actually I was going to pose it to Rod. So, Rod, we in a vote gave him, I want to say it was during December, Wayne, that we gave him until the end of January or 1st of February to get these applications in. I think we received them in February, but they were dated the 27th of January, excuse me. If he goes up, I mean, if there is a delay in him paying the town or coming up, I mean, I suppose the easiest thing is we have to revote it, but,
I think that what just so Rod knows, is that we allowed him 3 or 4 years ago to use some EDUs from a property that had excess EDUs That was a 7-unit apartment building. It became a 3-bedroom, a 3-unit or 2 or 3 unit condo. So he was able to move those permits at the time. We don't allow that anymore. And he kept the period of time to use them kept expiring. And we said, this is the last time it's going to be extended. And you have to get your act together and you have to give us a legitimate application and all that other stuff. Well, this was the first time that he actually, I think, went out and hired a surveying firm, had the engineer go ahead and prepare a document and have it in place. But we can't necessarily approve it if this sort of hold on, against the town on, perhaps taxes or whatever it happens to be.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if that's has legal grounds to do that. I'm not sure. Rod?
Well, I think the legal grounds are that he technically didn't meet the requirements of the vote. I think, to get it all in by the end of January. But as a practical matter, you could say, we'll consider it if everything is paid up by a certain date.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm sure that he has these under agreement. So I'm sure that he's in this catch-22 of if he can't get the permit and can't sell it and get the money, he can't pay the town. But if he got the permit, sold it, and didn't pay the town, then the town would be, sort of in a pickle. So, because the new person might not be required to pay something that the old person should have paid.
Yeah, we've bent over backwards for this guy on all these little things here, and I don't know. I don't know. So I got the list. Lisa, thank you.
Lisa, did he give a check for the applications?
No.
No?
Yes, I believe he did for the application fee.
$1,000 each?
Yes,
And did that go through? Or are you holding the check?
I held the check until the review.
Okay, so we're not sure that check might not be good.
Um,
Are the other amounts he owes lien items?
It doesn't say really. I mean, it has a code on it, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah, I think it might be. One is for 10 Windy Hill Road, and I believe that might be for sewer and water, but he doesn't.
See, that's old
That's sold.
and it's past papers, so.
And then the others are for 3, 9, and 15 Diab.
39 what?
3, 9, and 15 Diab, the same ones that he is put the sewer applications in for.
Okay, well, that
Really? What is he doing there?
probably hasn't paid taxes.
Yeah, I guess. Because I know that he was having some issues with the thing on Chief Justice Cushion Road, where in front of Avalon, where he clear cut that area without permission. Huh.
So what's the advice? Do we approve these or not approve them, or?
Do I try to deposit the check?
Well, I think the town is interested in getting their money, so he may have to put something, he may have to borrow the money to pay the town to come back to us to get the permits to be able to sell the property.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do we give him more time, or I mean, that's the question I have is
Well, in order to sell the property, he has to get a municipal lien certificate that's to say that there's the money due on it. And then the attorneys at the closing would take that money out to be able to pay the town what it is that they owe.
Hmm.
Right? That's a normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question for Rod. I mean, so he's filed the applications, he's filed the fees for the applications. Is there something basically in the regulations or DOR that basically can allow us not to process that at this point in time? Because they have outstanding debts with the town? I mean, all we have to do is reference that section.
I think that is that's not a statutory or regulatory thing, but it's a policy thing.
Well, I think, I mean, I think at the very least, we should probably tell him we can't process his application.
To Dan's question, and this is just reading the treasurer collector's email. MGL Chapter 40, Section 57 allows you to withhold or revoke licenses and permits for certain individuals who owe the town money.
Sounds like a good
Okay,
reference.
I stand corrected.
Well, then I'd say that we,
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a complete jerk, but I mean, is it in our best interest to do that, or can we sell these EDUs somewhere else, or because he's getting them at a discount, right?
Yep.
getting them free
Basically.
because they were paid for already by someone else.
Hmm. So, okay, so let's play this scenario out a bit. So if we vote to rescind the issuance of the permits and the EDU transfer, do those go back into a pool, or are they dead? Or can he come back in and reapply for them at today's rate?
Yeah, I think he can always reapply.
At today's rate.
Yeah. Huh.
I just don't think that we can approve the applications right now based on the hold, the hold. And
Yeah, I think it's I think it's pretty simple. I mean, you just reference that section that
Right.
that Brian cited off of the email, I guess, and say we can't process your applications until this is resolved. And
Yeah, and if he wants to do it, it's going to be at today's rate, not the old one. So,
or you give them a period of time to correct the issue.
like
Which
one
is-
day.
Well,
I mean, we've been dealing with this guy on these 3 lots for how long? 4 years?
right. And by the way, he's not even going to be paying it anyway. It's the person buying it that's
Right.
going to pay.
Right.
Not, I mean, so he's, yeah. So it's giving special treatment to someone that found a loophole and, and has not done,
it wasn't really a loophole.
kept all his promises. Excuse me?
It wasn't really a loophole. You actually granted him permission to do that.
Right, but it expired several times.
Right. So in this case, he's filed everything a couple of days late, true. But now we have another directive from the town on the financing of the things. I think general recommendation would give him some time to rectify the situation, but that's up to you, obviously. you know.
And Rod, what do you think about that?
I think that makes sense.
Okay, so I
Do it
would,
short.
yeah, I would make a motion that from today at noontime, he has 48 hours to rectify his delinquencies with the town. And if he doesn't, then this stuff is going, these EDUs will be, I guess, returned to the EDU pool. He can reapply for them, but at the higher rate.
And can we do that? Is that something that,
48 hours is a tight time frame, even from a banking perspective.
Right, 50. I mean, we have been fooling with this guy for so long. And it's always sort of placed on us that it's our responsibility to do this stuff. If he really wanted to do this, he can go to a bank and get a cashier's check, come down to the town hall and pay the damn thing.
I'm wondering about one other thing. Are there collection pipes where he wants to put the 3 locations where he mapped it out? In other words, did he go through the process of finding out where the pipes were and what the sizes were, so that in fact it would pass?
And none of that information was sent to me, so I can't tell you.
So we should send that to you.
Yeah, he sent some like scratches, look like homemade. Yeah, Lisa, do you want to send that to Dan?
Okay.
Well, actually, no, on the app, Dan, you were copied on the application, on the, hold on.
I thought you were too, but
Let's see it. I'll fire it off to you right now.
did he know he was on the agenda for today? Lisa?
No, I didn't notify him. I just figured it was just going to be a review of his application. And this delinquent part came in later on.
You probably should always tell an applicant that their application is going to be on for review. So they have an opportunity. Okay.
Noted.
So I think one of the things maybe is just to, I don't know if we can extend it.
Sorry, I'm on a Zoom. Just one second.
If we should extend the application, his, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could say we could give him a week, like from now. I just don't, I don't know.
Brian?
Would it be helpful if I shared my screen and just showed the plan of Diab Lane and North Cohasset?
Yeah, if you want.
Lisa, could I do that? Share my screen.
Do you have the share screen button live on the bottom?
Host
green-
disabled participant screen sharing.
You can make them a host if you want.
Enable it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me make you co-host.
There we go. So can you all see?
Yep.
So let me zoom back out. So basically, Howe Road is here. Here's Diab Lane. The 3 lots in question, I think, are these 1, 2, 3. And it's showing, where's the diameter on that? So I don't see a diameter on that, but these 3 lots also do front down a very steep hill, Howe Road on the other side. So you know, it's showing an 1.5 PVC service to this property, but I don't see a call out on the diameter on this one, assuming, you know, it might be a 2.
Brian, do you have the email that shows, I think you do, that shows the actual, on the applications? Somebody drew them up and showed where the pipe was going to be and all of that?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's in part of the application.
It looks like he's gonna have to do a little extension on Diab, if I get these orientated correctly.
Right, it looks like a potential extension here, but I'm assuming
Private
that this large, you know, previous estate is hooked up, but maybe it goes down to Jerusalem.
Yeah, it's hooked up from the backside.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, it looks like a
So-
little bit of an extension here, and then,
That is a private way. I'm sure he has access egress rights, but he would be constructing that extension. It would probably be just part of his private sewer connection.
so at any rate, I'll stop sharing my screen, and Lisa, you can take back the hosting capabilities.
Now, has he got water up in Diab Lane?
Well, there's
I believe
water to
that
this
was-
property and there's water to that property, so again, I'm not sure what,
Yeah, I do believe the water does extend down that way.
Yeah, he has some notes in the equipment part of the application that shows a grinder pump, simplex alarm panel, 1.5 inch check valve, 1.5 to 1.25 coupling, and 1.25 discharge whip.
Yeah, from the looks of it, it looks like he's bringing in electric and water off the Diab, and the sewer, he's actually coming out the back. And he's going directly over to Howe Road. So he probably doesn't have to do any extensions on Diab. Looks like he's putting in new connections or taps into the mains that are already existing on Howe Road.
so I'm sorry, I had to jump off on to a budget meeting. Are there any other questions that I can answer before?
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Items.
No.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
But if he has to go on to Howe Road, I recommend that he resurface that area, because the house that was being constructed right now has really caused damage during these thaw and freeze cycles in hauling all the ledge out by landers. And when I was down there one day, the road was actually just going up and down. And I think that the town should, you know, in the approval, put in a condition that road be fixed up. Because do it on the opposite side of the road, he'll have to be making 3 trenches going across.
I think that could be in the purview of your approval. I mean, the roadway obviously needs to have good bearing strength to protect your existing sewer. If it's been damaged, you could require them to repair it.
Okay. So what's the end result? We're gonna postpone it for a week, or have
I
him
recommend
have his
14 days, but
Why don't we go back to the question at hand, which is, do we give him any time, and how much, and how is he so informed of this? I mean, can we just, Rod, just send him an email and just say, you know, you got 1 week, say from noon today, to get to come to show proof that you are in good standing with the town, based on, you know, whatever the liens are, or the tax payments, or what have you. And if you can't do it by then this is off the table.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would recommend an email and a phone call.
Okay.
It's a rather short time frame. So
Yeah, and he's got, I believe, I mean, do you think we should do longer? I mean, I'm biased on that because of the time we've spent with this guy, and it seems like every single time we come back, there's another reason, the dog ate his homework
Yeah.
or something, so.
He has to know that he has problems, and he has to have been informed that he's not going to get anything because of his finances. So it's,
Just trying to, if it does get into litigation mode, just trying to think of a suitable time frame where it doesn't look like it's overburdening.
but it's no surprise to him, Dan.
No, I know. I mean, he obviously knows what's going on. We have given him, I don't know how many breaks on this, at least 4 or 5 to my recollection. And he still doesn't, follow our recommendations or requests. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not trying to defend him.
No, but I mean, I
No.
just, I think that we got to draw a line, we drew a line in the sand previously, he waited till the tide washed it away, and then now here we are again. And I think a week is plenty of time for him to, get a certified check and bring it to town hall and have somebody submit it and say, okay, you're clean and dandy, and that's it.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, nobody within their right mind would actually let me into a courtroom. But if I were to, take this, I would say we gave him a week, and I think that makes sense given what Bill has said. We've been extending this and extending this, so nobody put this particular issue in front of him. We will in a week. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, and I mean, as Wayne said, he's got to know about this. I mean, this is not going to come to him as a big surprise.
But he does have buyers for it, so it's although I don't know if he remembered whether he said it to us one time that he was going to build the houses, but
I don't remember.
but that, and of course that's none of our business, so I don't.
Correct. Yeah. All right.
So-
All right. Should we make why don't I make a motion on this, Wayne, and we can vote on it, that we give him a week from noontime today to, clear up anything that is delinquent with the town of Cohasset so that we can move forward. And if not, we'll rescind the EDUs. And if he wants to reapply, he'll reapply it. He will reapply at today's rate.
Give it till 10 o'clock next Tuesday, because if we needed to have a meeting, we don't necessarily want to wait 2 hours to talk about it.
All right, that's fine. 10 o'clock next Tuesday. Yeah. Okay.
Lisa, just document it when you call him.
Yeah,
And Lisa, when you send him an email, copy the board and Rod, and he had an attorney, and I can't remember the guy's name. Do you remember? Was
yeah,
it?
I can pull it up. I think it's Jeff something, but I have it in my email stream.
Yeah,
Copy him as well?
he had Rich Henderson at one point, and then I don't know if that's still. If
It
he's
wasn't Rich on the meeting, the last
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Right. I do remember that now. Yeah, I would copy that guy as well. And then I'd also state the Mass General Law that Brian gave you. And I'd just make in the letter, make it a point that it's not we haven't dug this up. It's just Mass General Law prohibits us from doing it. They may even want to state it. I don't know. That might be overkill, but let them look it up.
Okay,
Yeah, we received correspondence from the town that no permits can be issued until he satisfies some financial requirements.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to advertise that we even discuss finances and stuff, because that's generally something that's private.
Right. All
So
right,
I second the motion.
all right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So anything else that we need to talk about?
Rod had sent an email, I believe, to you guys about when we do the easements,
Oh,
and
yeah.
does that need to be voted on, that only one of you sign?
Yeah, just as a matter of logistics, when we start getting these easement agreements back, I proposed a vote that would authorize one commissioner to sign those documents on behalf of the commission. Just so, just to make it easier.
I second the motion.
Well, I think I have to read it for the record.
It's only 3 lines.
It's 6, but why don't I make a motion that with respect to the documents titled Transfer of Grinder Pump, Release of Easement and Agreement, that any one member of the Class Sewer Commission be and hereby authorized to execute and deliver any such documents on behalf of the commission.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Um,
And if Lisa becomes a notary, that will make it even easier.
When do you think that might happen, Lisa?
Well, it says 10 days, but if I haven't heard back from them in 18, to contact them.
Okay.
A couple of weeks anyways.
All right. Okay.
I have one final bit of business, and that is there any, are we meeting with the selectmen tonight or anybody about the appointment of a interim?
Yeah, we're on at like 7:05 or 7:15. If you look at the agenda for the select board tonight, there are basically, there's 2 things. One is more for us to listen to, but the other one is to discuss the appointment of Paul Kieris. I think it's at 7:10 or I don't remember the exact. I'll have to look it up. Oh, actually, wait a second. I printed it out. I had printed it out.
Okay.
It's at 7 o'clock is ours. I think they start at 6, and I think 7 o'clock is ours. You know what I'll do, Wayne? I'll send you a text. I'll go back in and find it, and I'll send you a text.
Okay.
But we are on the meeting, so we can both be a party to it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Anything else?
Anything else going on? No? All right, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody.